All right, is this thing on?
Yep. I was like, where is it?
Hey, hello. Boy, my hair looks crazy today.
I know, I had to put mine down. All right, let's do this. So we made it to number 2.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Right.
I think we're going to use this one to catch everyone up on Johnson & Johnson's lawsuit.
Let's do it.
So you kind of want to give them the gist?
Okay, so Johnson & Johnson, multi-billion-dollar international firm that makes all sorts of products, including drugs. We actually use a lot of Johnson & Johnson products in here. In fact, one of them, Symphony Aria, we are a huge prescriber of that drug. It really helps a lot of people manage their arthritis. All right, so Johnson & Johnson has 130,000 employees. One of their employees filed a lawsuit against them not quite a week ago. And this is what we've been talking about for a long time. It's the fiduciary duties that the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, and in Johnson & Johnson's case, there's a committee of 3 Chief Financial Officers that have sort of mismanaged the plan. Not sort of, they have mismanaged the plan according to the complaint. And they have been mandating to the most expensive place conceivable, which happens to be Express Scripts. Hey, Express Scripts, call me.
Located in Missouri.
Yes, located down the street.
On Insurance Boulevard.
Our crappy neighbor, Express Scripts. So the complaint is an amazing 74-page read. And I'm actually giddy over the whole thing. So what they've essentially done is they have taken their employees' contributions from the employee's paycheck and the Johnson & Johnson employer contributions for the patient's health care, and they squirrel them away, and then that's called a self-funded plan. So when these 130,000 employees and their dependents that are in the plan need health care, then that money is paid from that pot, okay? So there are many amazing examples in this piece of litigation, but just the very first one that's on page 3 is for a drug that costs $28.60 at Mark Cuban Cost Plus Pharmacy when you don't use any insurance, okay? So we're talking about a $28.60 drug, $30. Let's just call it 30.
We'll round up.
And Johnson & Johnson's plan, and these 3 guys, I don't have my PD pencil. Don't get it. It's fine. These 3 leaders, 1 woman and 2 men, refused to, well, they didn't refuse. They agreed to pay Express Scripts, how much?
$10,000.
$10,700 for one prescription for one patient.
For 90 days.
For 90 days supply for something that costs $28.60.
Do you want to know her copayment for every 90 days?
$1,200. So, I'm sure this patient that sued, her name's Annie. She is like super educated and super knows this piece of business. And she also has MS, which is multiple sclerosis. So instead of them allowing her to cash pay it or allowing her to save her $1,200 copay, the leadership there said, nope, we feel like Express Scripts.
They do a really great job.
They do a really great job, and I'm sure they're all over at Petey's house for Thanksgiving. I don't know if they're going to be there for Valentine's Day, but call me, Petey. So look, it's just the basis of this is the fiduciary responsibilities were completely blown off, which it really looks like they have been based on even one prescription, but there's like over and over again. On average, Johnson & Johnson's HR department, HR leadership agreed to pay 500% over what they should have. So
not dollars.
That is like the fiduciary. I mean, honestly, I think my dog could have done a better job managing the fiduciary responsibility. But, Express Scripts, I mean, they're probably loving this. I mean, they are so into, don't have anyone check on us, don't have anyone manage us, don't have anyone ask us any questions.
Other than our pharmacy benefit managers.
The pharmacy benefit manager is not managing the pharmacy benefits.
Didn't they make like 453%?
Yeah,
it was something insane. Outlandish.
The profits that the 3 big PBMs, Express Scripts,
Accredo?
Accredo, well, Express Scripts is part of Accredo. Express Scripts, OptumRx, and CVS Caremark, they control 80% of the market share. But for these larger companies like J&J, like this is the watershed moment. This is the first of like, I hope, a line of attorneys out the door.
Well, can you explain what a self-funded plan is, basically?
Okay, so a self-funded plan, my office is not a self-funded plan because we're too small, okay? So we have what is called a fully funded plan, as if that means anything great. It doesn't. But a self-funded plan is where there's typically you're going to have at least 100 employees, but Johnson & Johnson has 130. So a self-funded plan, health insurance plan, is where the money for the premiums is taken from the employee and matched with the employer, however they have it laid out in their plan. And that money is held in trust, okay, in a separate bank account, so that when the claims come in for the medical care that the patients and employees need, then that money flows back out. So it's not like you can say, okay, well, we're going to buy candy. So that's what the difference between self-funded and fully funded is.
Well, and I've seen a lot with this Johnson & Johnson case that it's really everyone's pointing the finger between, is it the health insurance fault or is it pharma's?
So, it's both, okay? So let's just remember the numbers always tell the real story. When in doubt, go look at the numbers, okay?
I brought the numbers.
I knew that I printed out the numbers. Okay, so if we just look at, these are 2023 numbers, okay? So Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and Novartis had the most profits for 2023 out of pharma, okay? So everybody thinks pharma is all garbage. But they're not. Here's the thing. Pfizer made or posted revenue in 2023 of $58.5 billion. That's B with a B as in boy, billion. Okay. That's a lot of money, but let's remember that Pfizer actually is doing research and development on drugs, and they are actually creating a product. Okay. So do they deserve to be
compensated?
Absolutely. They've got a lot of risk in this. Okay. But AstraZeneca made $45.8 billion with a B. Novartis made $45.5 billion with a B. And Johnson & Johnson made $21.4 billion with a B. Okay, these are all 2023 revenues.
Which is a lot of money, yes. But
it's a lot of money. But they're actually producing something, okay? Now we flip to the real story here. It's on the other side.
I was like,
shit.
Oh, okay. No.
All right. The largest healthcare companies with their revenues in 2023, United Healthcare or United Health Cartel, your choice, whoever can relate to that, they had $371.6 billion, B as in billion dollars.
Compared to Pfizer's $58 billion.
$58 billion versus $371.6 billion for United Health Cartel.
So they made 1/6.
Yeah. CVS, $357.8 billion. So they're right there. McKesson, $301.5 billion. All right. Cigna, $195.3 billion. Evolence, which is now, your Blues and blah, blah, blah. It's like everyone has to change their name so that they can hide from their bad reputations that are well-deserved. Evolence made $170 billion. So even Centene, which is like Medicaid plans, $154 billion. So none of these even touch what Pfizer made, which is the number one. So who is to blame for the high cost of drugs?
You follow the money.
I don't think it's the pharma. I think it's these morons, okay? Because these people, United Healthcare, it's the insurance companies, they're not producing any product, okay? Understand that your premiums, my premiums, and your premiums are going to deny your care, okay? Everybody's a patient, and United Healthcare and all of these other insurance companies, they don't produce anything. So why should they make obscene amounts of money from the patients and from pharma? I don't know. And the majority of their money is coming from their giant PBM, pharmacy benefit manager. So this is crazy talk.
It's crazy insanity. Talk. Do you think this is going to, lift the lid off of a bunch more cases?
God, I hope so. I'm going to get the rosary beads out. I hope so.
We read through the entire 74 pages. Mm-hmm. The day it came out, I thought it was Tyson Foods. I thought that was going to be the big blow up because they dropped Express Scripts, which was huge. I guess they had a little birdie tell them something was going to come up. So how, like, can you explain how health insurance isn't benefiting people anymore? Because I think people are getting very confused and they're like, my health insurance is the reason I have a $25 copayment. And you guys get that $25 copayment.
Yeah. So listen, health insurance is really just an expensive coupon. All right. The minute you present a health insurance card in the emergency room at a doctor's office at urgent care, you are automatically going to pay higher prices than if you could say, hey, I don't have insurance. Can I pay cash? I actually had an MRI and I went through all of this rigmarole because my own health insurance, Anthem, I'm an employer and a patient. And the arthritis center pays 50% of my premiums and I pay the other 50%. But because I'm 58 years old, my premiums, like my portion of it is like $1,300. And so it's very expensive based on how old I am, because the older you get, the more crap goes wrong with you.
Well, and how many times have you been to the doctor? That $1,300 would have paid for the visits in cash if you had just paid.
Right. So, I mean, when I needed help and I needed an MRI, my shitty insurance said, we don't think so. We think we know better, despite the fact that I had not one, but two orthopedic surgeons begging for MRIs for me, 3 MRIs. So I went through all the rigmarole. Dr. Bach had to do a peer-to-peer.
It's on here.
Yes, we actually filmed it because I'm the patient and I consent to spreading the reality of healthcare, because, you know, these insurance companies are all hiding behind, oh, well, we don't want to, you know, HIPAA. Listen, we're all living HIPAA, okay? And that's possibly why we're in this mess, because everyone's afraid to show their colors. I don't have anything to hide. Those that don't have anything to hide nothing. I am happy for anybody to see what this is, because I already know that I'm paying for all this.
Well, and it's crazy because people don't even understand the small print that we receive in these contracts from insurance companies, to where we have to literally, we can't say anything. We have to just say, I can't speak on that. I have no opinion, because we're not able to say what we think is best, because then we're breaking one of our contract things. So it's like they're trying to purposefully hide behind or trick physicians into messing it up, which you had a friend that's a primary care physician that during COVID, United Healthcare,
he ended up having to pay them. The physician doing the work had to pay United Healthcare $100,000 in one of these HMO risk contracts. Like, it is so backwards and so bad. Again, I go back to, what is the product these insurance companies what are they producing and selling?
prior authorizations.
That's what they produce and that's what they sell. And by God, they think they're important. Prior authorization is just one way for all these insurance companies to put everybody in the one size fits all funnel. And you're either going to get what they want you to have. You know you're getting the bare ass minimum, but you're going to get what they want in their funnel that makes them the most money, or you're going to give up. Or your doctor's office is going to give up.
Well, and a lot of doctors don't go to the length that we are willing to go for our patients.
No, they don't. But it's really important to Dr. Bach that our patients have an advocacy team. So that's why she and I spend, I would say I spend about 95% of my time on advocacy projects.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And then I pick up one every now and then and I talk to them in person. Or
I bet you spend at least 50% of your job.
Oh, yeah.
Advocacy.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
absolutely.
More.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Especially with all of this stuff that we're using to educate people. This is all for educational, informational purposes, not to be used as medical advice.
100%. And this is all our dumb little opinions.
Right. So what's the future of healthcare? How can we put an end to PBMs kind of taking over healthcare?
Well, I think we're already seeing a shift that the market, the patients are really, really getting fed up, that they get double-digit premium increases, and every year they're required to pay more and more on top of these ridiculously high premiums that patients have to pay, because somebody has to support all of these profits. Okay,
Mr. 353 billion.
If United Healthcare is posting profits of $371.6 billion, that's after they've paid all their expenses. So, you know, they own 90,000 physicians are employed by United Healthcare. I mean, I'm just going to say this. I think they're bottom feeders. I mean, these are doctors that are getting money to deny patients in these peer-to-peers and all this other stuff. I mean,
they're exhausting every other physician that's not hired under them. They're like, nope.
So when you don't produce any product and the product you produce is an administrative burden, that's what a prior authorization is. So what is the future of healthcare? I think everybody is ready to say, the hell with these people. Like, I am going to go back to the days of going to a doctor and here's a chicken. Like, I would be so down with that. I really would.
Julie, you'd freak out if a chicken was brought into the office.
I would give it to my next door neighbor. My next door neighbor has a chicken coop and he has ducks in it too. Oh. And I would be like, here, David, take this.
Could I have some eggs?
I don't even want the eggs. I'm not really like the duck eggs. Really, I had one once and it wasn't that great to me. But I think that we go back to the days of, here's the prices. This is what it costs. Let patients shop. Let them shop for their healthcare like they shop for groceries.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, when you sign up and you're a United Healthcare or Anthem or whoever member, you have to use their dumb language. When you're a member, you have to use their narrow networks. And you have to do everything that they say. What happened to freedom of choice in shopping? So I really think the future of healthcare is getting back to the market will determine. You know, people want choices of where they go for their healthcare. And in rheumatology, we don't have any competition because there's always more rheumatology patients than rheumatologists. And it's the medical schools just aren't churning out as many physicians because it's kind of turned into
$100,000 is what that one doctor had to pay out. Like,
right.
What incentive is it for me to go to medical school?
It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot. And to have your clinical decisions ripped from you and have United Healthcare or any of these insurance companies override your clinical decisions, people are only going to put up with so much. And we're just like at a great tipping point to say, you know what? We don't accept this insurance anymore. And last year we terminated our contract with Cigna. And this year, we've already terminated 2 contracts. One Medicare Disadvantage plan coming soon on May 5th, and the other one is HealthLink. Because HealthLink, are you ready for this? This is crazy talk. HealthLink charges me, my office, $1,000 a month last month for the privilege of serving their members. And when I emailed them and called and they're like, we can't afford to take your patients. They're like, yeah, well, terminate your contract then. They literally don't give a rat's behind. So that's what we're doing.
Well, and it's scary because we already know from Cigna that there's a rheumatology shortage. So the fact that these insurance companies are just like, nah, we don't need you. It's like, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Here's the thing. It's the ultimate I don't care.
Right.
The decision makers are so far removed from the patients on the ground. You know, these patients they're struggling. And, you know, the reason why there's such terrible wait times to get in to see specialists is because of the administrative burdens of the insurance companies making all the money. So we're getting back to basics. Yeah. We're getting back to cash pay healthcare and direct care.
Yeah, and we're excited about it. And I think that wraps up episode 2. It's a quick one, but
yes, it is.
If you guys have questions, send it on over. You know the drill, and have a good one.